I've been asked so many times, how could someone go into properties without using any of their own money? I recently had an email. The email read, "Hello Rahim, thank you so much for your free course the other day. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot and I have great insight into properties. But I have an issue. I have no money and I could not raise money from my mortgage due to bad credit rating. I have county court judgment in my name, so I'm not able to have any money whatsoever to go into property, but I really want to go into property. Rahim, if you were in my position, what would you do to go into property without using any of your own money?" If you like my video or any of my video, hit the like button below and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of this video. I am going to share 4 ways you could get into property without using any of your own money. Let's get to it. Number 1, joint venture agreement. Joint venture agreement is a venture undertaken jointly by 2 or more people, which otherwise retain their distinct identity. It is suitable to anyone. For example, if you have knowledge, experience, you could joint venture with someone who has money but has no time, no experience, and no knowledge in the property business. What you could do, you could then go search for the deal, negotiate the property deal, secure it, and then get the JV partner, the joint venture partner, to inject the money to buy the property. If there's any works needs doing, you will do the legwork, manage the project, and probably effectively manage the property itself for a profit share. It could be 50-50, it could be 40-60, whatever you've agreed on, agree to that and then stick to it. Please make sure you have proper agreement in place before joint venturing with anyone. But that's one of the ways you could go into properties without using any of your own money. Number 2, OPM, other people's money. This is when you use other people's money basically to buy properties or to invest in property. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a university mate, it could be your neighbors, it could be anyone who has money but it's not using it basically, sat on the bank doing nothing, especially now when the interest rate is almost 0. So if you approach these people, tell them the experience and the knowledge you have into property and what sort of return you could give them for lending you that money, you could have a great investor nearby that you would have never thought about. Another way to use other people's money would be overdraft. If you have an overdraft in your bank account, you could use that. If the money is not enough, you could use that to secure a rent-to-rent property deal or rent-to-service accommodation property deal. The last method, I will not advise you to do this unless you know what you're doing or unless you know exactly what sort of things you need to do to actually execute this. Credit card. Credit card is what I used to buy my first property, and again, you need to look for properties that again, I do not advise you to use this method of credit card. I used credit card to buy my first ever property. What I did was I borrowed the money on a 0 balance transfer and 0 interest rates. So what I did was I did the property up, renovated, and then remortgaged before my free interest rate and 0 balance transfer expires, and then repay that credit card. Again, I do not advise you to do this unless you know exactly what you're doing, or seek for an advice of someone who will guide you through the process to ensure you do not go into debt, because credit card debts are very expensive to pay. Number 4, purchase lease option is when you agree to buy a property at today's price for some time in the future, usually 3 to 10 years. Meanwhile, you take over the property and complete responsibility and act as if you are the owner of the property, therefore benefit from the rental income. Again, this is an option to buy the property in the future, not an obligation. If you like the property after 3 to 5 years, you can easily buy that property, which would have already appreciated in value, and you could remortgage that property, pull some of your investment back. Again, this is one of the ways you could get into property without using any of your own money, because this process allows you to buy that property. This process allows you to agree to buy that property in the future. All you would need to do basically probably is to pay your solicitor fees. Number 3, lease option agreement. Purchase lease option agreement is when you agree to buy a property at today's price for some time in the future, usually 3 to 10 years. Meanwhile, you take over the property and complete responsibility and act as if you are the owner and therefore benefit from the rental income. Please note, you have the option to buy the property in the future, not an obligation to buy it. Say if you don't want to buy it at the end of the option between the 3 to 5 years, you could hand that property back to the owner. Alternatively, you can buy it because what would have happened within that 3 to 5 years? The property value would have gone up more than the price that you've already agreed to buy it. And if you buy that property, you remortgage, you may be able to pull some of your investment back out, plus the rent you would have already collected during that period. And again, this sort of strategy doesn't incur cost. Again, this sort of strategy do not need you to have money. You may need to pay your solicitor's fees, obviously, but this doesn't require you lots of money to buy this property. Number 4 is my favorite, sourcing properties, i.e. packaging property deals. The process by which you as an individual will go out there, search for properties, you negotiate and secure a property that is for sale that would be a good investment, right? Then sell that information to an active property investor for a fee. A good source deal could generate you anywhere from £2,000 upwards. Again, guys, there's no reason for you not to go out there, look for these properties. You don't have to have that money. Go there, act as if you want to buy this property. You search for the deal, you negotiate, you secure it, tell the agent or whoever is selling that property, you've got investors that you work with that will buy that property. Guess what you do? You then wrap and package that information and push it onto that active investor who will pay you handsomely for providing that deal to them. There you go. No excuse for not getting into property, right? And I also run a free property crash course. If you're interested, click the link in the description below to join me in my next property crash course. Hey, but don't forget, if you like this video or any of my videos, hit the like button below and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of these videos. I look forward to sharing the next video. Thank you.